everybody, I'm Jammer and welcome back. We have a ton of new Animal Crossing Horizons info that I've barely been able to keep up with the surge of information we're getting out of kind of nowhere. With such a giant absence of a supposed Nintendo Direct that we've been expecting for so long, we've just been continuing to get actually a lot of new renders, screenshots, and even some gameplay of Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I think that's the best place to start off right off the bat. Just barely this morning, we got a new advert trailer for Animal Crossing New Horizons. It was more of like a in-practice kind of advertisement. It wasn't just like a full gameplay thing. It was showing like some actresses in their home playing Animal Crossing together. It was a mom and a daughter together. It was a very cute and wholesome trailer. It is a really great advertisement because it's, of course, Animal Crossing markets a lot towards the female audience. But beyond that, it's showing the connectivity between two different people within the same household. So then obviously they can hope to get two people to buy the game instead of just one. The first scene we actually see of real gameplay is actually at the title screen. And the first thing we see right off the bat is we see Timmy, or perhaps maybe Tommy, walking around in the environment. And it's very typical to what we've seen in Animal Crossing games past ever since Wild World. The game opens up with the logo and it shows one of the villagers walking around your town. In this case, it's actually Tommy, and this could be potentially just the start of the game since you don't have any village yet, or villagers for that matter, or it could be meaning that special characters could also be walking around, and that could be a thing too. I'm more lenient towards it's probably like the beginning of the game. That's kind of what the intro screen will look like. And then once you obviously have established your town and village and you have villagers, then of course it'll be like a villager will be walking around their house and your town and stuff like that. The most interesting thing to know right off the bat though is in the lower left hand corner. If you click the minus button, it says save data settings. Now, what the heck does that even mean? It's hard to say what that even is, because typically when you click A, there'll be a dialog box that comes up, and it'll say either new game, continue, or you can go right into settings there. And that's typically where you can, talk to Isabel or KK or whoever, and they would you could reset your town. You could also set the time and whatever. And so you would think when talking about save datas, and presumably something to do with save datas, like for example, clearing your town and resetting, that would be, in the settings thing after you clicked A, after it said click continue, you'd see that afterwards. But instead, save data settings is right off the bat, right there on kind of its own thing. So it makes me wonder if it has there's a specific reason behind this, is the reason I bring it up. First thing to think about is, does it have something to do with a cloud save option? So far, nothing has been announced about cloud saves for New Horizons. Matter of fact, it might have been even confirmed that it might not even be coming to New Horizons. So it's kind of odd to see the save data thing up there in the corner. When I kind of look at this, I kind of get the impression that Animal Crossing New Horizons, when you load it up, might be similar to Ring Fit Adventure and Luigi's Mansion 3, where it doesn't matter what account you actually launch it with. It kind of just launches the app when you click it. And the reason I think it's going to be like that is because we've already got the confirmation that you can only have one island per Switch. You can only have one save data, essentially, but you can use multiple users to all live on that same island. And perhaps what we might be looking at here is basically once the player would click A, the user thing would come up on the Switch and they'd be able to select what user they're playing as, and then they'd be able to start the game from there and play as that character. Perhaps this save data settings button, rather than picking your user right off the bat, you can actually actively manipulate the settings for different users. So perhaps deleting a specific user from your town. So it's more customizable than just outright resetting your town. And maybe it has to do with kind of stuff like that. But honestly, it's really hard to say what this really could entail, what it could be, because it's so general, just save data settings, It could even perhaps be how you toggle the autosave functionality, whether it's constant autosaves or you still have to do manual saves like you typically do in previous Animal Crossings. I don't know. It's just such a small little thing here, but it is definitely something to think about. Anyways, moving on to the trailer, we see her playing as her villager, opening up her inventory while in her town. And I think, honestly, what's kind of cool, this is the first time we've seen a build of Animal Crossing New Horizons since the last Direct last year in, what was that, September, October or something? Otherwise, every other instance we've seen on Animal Crossing so far has been screenshots, pictures, or talking about the new special edition Switch, which, by the way, looks freaking amazing and is causing me so much pain, and I don't know if I want to get it or not. I mean, I do want it, but I know I don't need it. But I don't need two Switches. But I also need a new dock, and I might another second set of Joy-Cons. No, I can't do it. I might do it. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is this is the newest build we've ever seen of Animal Crossing New Horizons here in this footage. As far as the UI itself, everything seems generally the same. There might be some subtle differences with like the positioning of the text, but everything seems remotely the same of what we've seen before. We got the same amount of item slots, the materials we see in the list, we got rocks, perhaps a bag of weeds, some different kind of logs, what looks to me like some sort of ore or like another rock variant, and as well as some sticks. Below that, of course, we have the bell indication as well as the button where you would click to be able to change your villager's clothes. Anyways, the player looks like she's quite close to her town center area. We got, of course, the message board in the background with a bird on it, which of course indicates that there's probably a message going on there that she's missed or that she needs to read. Actually, on the plaza itself, you can see the large bonfire, which we've seen plenty of times before. And next to that is a stump with a bunch of little materials next to it. We've seen that, of course, as well. The next shot got a couple of interesting things. We do see the wall / the waterfall on the left side of the island here. Rather than typically when we've seen a lot of different gameplay stuff, we'd see the upper wall, you know, the topmost part of the village having like that boundary area. But we've never seen anything on on either side, left or right of the island. And now this could be just the boundary on the left side, and it seems odd to kind of put barriers on really anywhere of the island. So this is a concept we're actually come back to in a little bit, where it shows off a solution to this kind of idea of these walls and different elevation. Anyways, that's about everything in that scene. Moving on to the next scene, we actually see her home base, and there's a couple of new things here. First, we see the pear trees again, which is probably, yeah, an indication that these are definitely her town fruit. We see these wooden picket fences, which is super cute, kind of lining her path into her home. Not actually a path laid down, but just kind of like a general sense of what the direction of her quote-unquote roads would be. She's got a very cute garden all the left of her house with some different assorted flowers planted. We see the stump with the construction tools on it, which we've seen plenty before already. And then we see a little bird feeder in the far back left. On the right-hand side, we see the big giant bonfire, like I previously mentioned, and also we see some tiki torches, which are definitely new this time around. At this point, it kind of emphasizes the focus on, hey, now we can play together via 2 different switches, you know, and it shows the daughter as well as the mom playing together in her town. A cute thing to note, though, is they are playing on March 20th, so it's like kind of giving you the idea, a very subtle reminder that, oh, this is technically on release day. Sure, okay, we know that these two have played Animal Crossing before this. That's not fair. Also, it's a little weird that they kind of pulled focus from the daughter's switch, but then they kind of superimposed the screen onto the switch, so then it's still totally visible. Yeah, it's a little weird. Anyways, they just set the thing on fire and nothing basically happens. So that's kind of the end of the gameplay section of it. Like, obviously, the biggest things to note is, well, first of all, this is the first gameplay we've seen at all since the previously mentioned Direct and E3. We've seen the new title screen and the mysterious settings button. And so we're all around the topic. There was recently an image posted of a promotional poster for Animal Crossing New Horizons. It showed off actually a lot of new information. A couple of new villagers that weren't previously announced, but that's not the most exciting part of this stuff. The most interesting part is the elevation change, like we talked about earlier. In this image, it looks like there's just a random little area that's, you know, at a higher, it's a hill / cliffside, you know, it's just at a higher elevation than the rest of the village. And what's interesting is there's a brick staircase built up to that area, which is confirming of 2 things. One, the difference in elevation from the original game on GameCube has finally returned to the series, because every game previously has had completely flat villages. It's actually pretty cool now to see a variety of landscapes. So it's not just, you know, a flat land to work with. You actually have some variety to the terrain. And not only that, with the confirmation of that, not just we think that those areas are considered the out of bounds areas. There might be like hills and different areas within your town that perhaps when you first start the game won't be accessible to you, and you won't be able to build villagers' homes up there or do anything up there until you actually build a staircase up to it. And speaking of the bricks, let's take a look at the path right in front of it. So far of the paths we've seen, we've only seen the dirt path that the villager draped the grass off of the ground. This is the first instance we've seen of a different kind of path. This time being, like I just mentioned, bricks. There are a variety of different kind of paths you can incorporate in your town. Either you use the little gardening shovel to like carve little dirt paths, and beyond that, maybe you're able to craft different paths, whether it be like wood planks, cobblestone little stone steps, bricks, of course. So really the biggest key features of this image is the path, the higher up terrain, and of course the staircase. But before we wrap up, there was one really big update over the weekend as well, and that was the inclusion of 250 different Animal Crossing character renders. a mind-blowing, staggering amount of different renders of characters in different poses. Not only some special characters like full renders of finally seeing Isabelle, Tom Nook, Timmy and Tommy, as well as them in their winter or fall outfits. But beyond that, we saw tons of different villager types. So all this is a large list of confirmation of characters to be now in the game. So while this is a large list of characters confirmed to be in the game, this actually isn't all encompassing of every character in the game. Because the only species that are shown off here are pigs, bunnies, rhino, sheep, squirrel, tigers, wolves, mice, octopus, ostriches, eagles, and penguins. So while that is a large list of different villager species, from series past anyways, we're still missing birds, koalas, alligators, anteaters, bulls, cats, horses, hamsters, kangaroos, chickens, cubs, bears, dogs, hippos, ducks, gorilla, lion, frog, monkey, deer. Whilst there already have been a lot of characters of those species announced for the game, like Hamlet, the hamster, as well as Fuchsia, the deer, these renders have really shown full catalogs of a certain species within Animal Crossing New Horizons. I think it's safe to say any character from New Leaf, Pocket Camp, or even Happy Home Designer for that matter, are all generally safe to be confirmed for this game, because the majority of this list, as well as the previous ones we've seen, have all been a part of those games. But what's really interesting about these renders is it did bring back a lot of older characters from the series we have not seen for a very long time. Some of the notable ones worth mentioning is Cashmere. She was only available on the GameCube, and then she was later released as an amiibo card. Then there's Dobby. He was available on Animal Crossing GameCube, but only on the island. Then eventually he was released as an amiibo card. Hopkins was on only the Japanese version, so never even in the American version. He was then later made an amiibo card and was a part of Pocket Camp. He's never been in a mainline Animal Crossing title outside of Japan. Julia was of the same situation as well in the Japanese Animal Crossing game, and eventually became an amiibo card and came to Pocket Camp. But my personal favorite, one of my favorite Animal Crossing villagers of all time, Sprocket, has finally made his return. He was only on Animal Crossing GameCube, and eventually he did make his way as an amiibo card. But to see Sprocket come back, it warms my heart, because Sprocket was the first villager I ever had move away from my town that I was genuinely sad that he left. He was the first villager to move away that really left an impact on me, and I'm just like so ecstatic he's back in the game, and I'm so hoping I can get him back in my town again. With such an immense catalog of different characters and villagers, I literally look forward to see how they handle it's a weird way to put it, but villager trading, because everyone who plays Animal Crossing has their dreamies or their favorite characters that they love and really want in their village, and there's never been an easy way to actually get the characters you want unless you're just doing it by chance, or you have a friend that happens to have the character you're looking for, and then you're able to interact with them and hope that they'll decide to move to your town. I really do wonder if eventually we would see another kind of functionality to bring the exact characters you want to your town. Because the amiibo cards, while it was random which characters you would obtain, it was still a pretty good feature where you were able to kind of bring in whatever characters you wanted into your town. It was an easy solution to bring the exact character you wanted to live in your village. So it does make me wonder if there will be a similar mechanic here in Animal Crossing New Horizons, because from what we've seen so far, we've seen a lot of different returning villagers, but we haven't seen that many brand new ones. There has been hints and very low-res images showing off what could potentially be some new villagers, but we really had no official announcement or view of some brand new characters. I think the biggest takeaway, though, looking at these new renders, is just how amazing Animal Crossing looks in HD. Like, I always thought the New Leaf renders were like something else. I always thought they were pretty top notch, especially like their character, obviously in-game things. It's a 3DS game. That's to be expected. But when comparing these new renders to New Leaf, it is such a massive jump in graphical fidelity that it's so fantastic. So that's all the new information we got with Animal Crossing New Horizons. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a big, awesome like. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe for tons more on Animal Crossing New Horizons. I got some stuff definitely down in the pipeline. Give me some time, though, because I am actually in the process of moving. So, yeah, please understand with that. Thanks again, guys, so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya!